Grab your free pattern down below and let's make this chunky sunflower coaster. Hello everyone and welcome to Amparo Wonderland. You are probably ready to get this started, so let's go ahead and bring this materials list out and let's begin. First on our list is our scissors. We need those to cut the yarn. We need our 5mm hook. Okay. The next material is the darning needle, of course, to finish off our piece. We need our best friends here, our stitch markers. You don't need a whole lot. A couple stitch markers should be fine. And then we need our two-colored yarn, which is brown and yellow. The brown color that I'm using is from I Love This Yarn, and the color is called Cinnamon. For the yellow color that I am using is called Premier Just Yarn, and it is the color yellow. So now that we got that set, let's move this materials list out and let's start our pattern. So let's zoom in and move our things out of the way and let's get yarning. Now to get this started, we are going to begin with our brown colored yarn, which it is in my case Cinnamon from I Love This Yarn. And what we're going to do is going to be a little different. So pull out a bit of yarn out so that way you can have enough, and I will show you why you need to do that. Now, when you're using yarn, you usually just typically use your yarn like this, right? You create a magic ring or a slip knot, whatever you want to make. I'm going to step my game up a little bit here. And I'm going to teach you how to create a thick yarn just by using a regular yarn. So what you're going to do is that you're going to place your yarn in an S shape like this. Okay, so this is the end, the loose end, and this side over here, this is the part that's connected to your skein or skein. I don't know the word how to say it. But now that you have this shape like that, like an S, we're going to put it together and kind of align this end together like this to make sure that it's even. And just flatten it out like this. And now what we're going to do is that we are working in rounds. So we are going to be using the magic ring to start off. So if you don't know how to make a magic ring, I do have a card over here that you can click. Or if you want, you can just stick around and follow along with this video. Now, magic ring. So we have our end here. This is where the loose end is. And this is the part that's connected to your yarn. Skein, ball, cake, skein. And what we're going to do is that we're going to pull over here and we're going to do little loops like this. Make an X. And we're going to grab our hook. Don't forget, it's 5mm. And we're going to grab our end here and go like this and like this. If that didn't explain anything, I am so sorry. You can go and click that card and I explain it a little better. Now, here we are. So, as you can see, yours may be a little bit longer, but I am running out of yarn here and I can't continue working into my magic ring. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to grab this end and put it through the loop here. So grab the loop, put your fingers through the loop and grab that piece of yarn and just pull it through. Just like that. And you're just gonna straighten it, make sure that it's good. And now I can create my stitches. Now that I have thickened my yarn, I'm going to do 6 single crochets into the magic ring. So go into your center of the magic ring and I'm going to do a yarn over and you pull up your loop and you're going to yarn over again and pull through both loops on your hook. Now, this may get a little difficult, like you're in the manner where your hook is going to get caught into the strands, because you do have 3 strands being used as one. But do not worry, it's the same pattern. Pattern is very easy. So that's the only reason that this would be a little bit more of a difficult pattern. But in all reality, if you just buy a thick yarn, this will be a very, very easy beginner-friendly pattern. Okay, so now that I have explained that, go ahead and create another single crochet. So go into the center of your magic ring. You're going to yarn over and you're going to pull up a loop. You're going to yarn over and pull through both loops that are on your hook there. To make it a little easier, just make sure you don't make your stitches too tight, so that way it has an easier leeway of the hook going through the loops that are on your hook. Okay, so I've got 2. Go ahead and create another one like that. Okay, so go ahead and create the last 3 stitches, and I will see you when you have 6 single crochets in total. Alright, so we've got our 6 single crochets in our magic ring here, or also known as magic circle. And what we're going to do is that we are going to close our magic ring. If you know how to do it, go ahead and move forward. If you don't, follow along. So we've got our short strand here, which is loose. There's nothing connected to it. And then we have our longer strand here, which is actually connected to our skein here. Skein. Yarn cake. And you're going to leave that strand alone. Do not touch that, okay? Go ahead and grab this shorter one over here. And what we're going to do is that hold your stitches here firmly, and you're going to pull this, just pull it. Just pull it, pull it, pull it, and that's going to close your circle all the way as tight as you can until you do not have a little hole in the center anymore. So now your little circle is closed, okay? So tighten that up, and now what we're going to do is that we're going to start into the next stitch, which is going to be our round 2. Sorry, I did not point out round 1. So this is actually round 1. Let's bring our round counter here. Sorry about that. So we just finished round 1, and now we're going to go ahead and do round 2. Round 2 is going to be increases. What increases are is when you are creating 2 stitches into 1 stitch. And in this case, we are creating a single crochet into each stitch. So 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. If that sounds a little confusing, do not worry. I am going to show you how that works. Go ahead and remove that stitch. Not the stitch, the marker. And we're gonna go ahead and work into that stitch there. So first, you're going to put your hook right into the stitch there and try to grab all the strands to make sure that, just to make sure that you keep consistent thickness. And we're going to do a yarn over, and you're going to pull up your loop, yarn over, and pull through both loops. Grab your stitch marker and mark up that first stitch, because you will lose your spot if you do not. Okay, so we did our first single crochet here in that 1 stitch. Now what we're going to do is that we're going to create another single crochet in that same stitch. Okay, so go right in there in that same stitch, go in there, put your hook in it, grab your yarn, do a yarn over, and pull up your loop. Just like that. Go ahead and yarn over and pull through both loops that are on your hook already. And you've created your single crochet, your second one, which means you have just made an increase. Now, as you can see, my stitches are on the looser side, and that's because if you make it too tight, it is going to be very difficult to put your hook into the stitches in there. Okay, so we did 1 increase. In round 2, we're going to go into the second stitch here, which is the next one, and we're going to create another increase. So go right into that stitch, you're going to yarn over, and you pull up your loop. Okay, yarn over and pull through both loops. Now again, go into the same stitch, don't move forward, go into the same stitch, you're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. Okay, keep going, you yarn over and pull through both loops, and you have made another single crochet. But see, if you're not careful, you can lose your strand here. So I kind of lost it there, but it's okay because I can literally just put it back onto my hook. So there you go. We've got 2 increases now, so you should have 4 stitches at the moment. I'll show you again one more time on how to do that increase, because I am going to be running out and I want to show you what to do if you do run out of this, because you do want to make sure that you continue the same thickness of your pattern. So go ahead and go into the next stitch and create your increase. So grab all the strands, you go yarn over, pull up your loop, yarn over and pull through 2. Go into the same stitch, you yarn over and pull up your loop. I'm not going to continue because, as you can see, this is getting a little short here, and if I keep going, I could possibly lose this strand and I will have to frog my piece or start that stitch over. So what I'm going to do, as you can see, it has a little hoop there, right? And we still have this piece which is connected to your yarn. And what we're going to do is that we're going to open up this loop here, go and grab that piece of yarn and pull it through the loop. And then you're going to pull that strand, pull until it's even like this. And now you can continue creating your piece. Okay? So I'm going to yarn over and pull through the 2 loops. And when it comes to that, you just continue doing that process as you lose this strand here as it gets shorter, because you want to make sure, like I said, that you stay consistent and you keep your piece together as a chunky yarn type of thing. So go ahead and continue and create the rest of your increases. So you just need to do 3 more increases to finalize this round. So in the end, you should have 12 stitches for this round. Alright, so I've made it to the end of my round here. I did my increase, so I have a total of 12 stitches for round 2. Let's go ahead and move over to round 3. And in round 3, what we're going to do is a pattern of 1 single crochet and then an increase. And you just repeat that: 1 single crochet, increase, 1 single crochet, increase, 1 single crochet, increase. I got tongue-tied there. So go ahead and remove your stitch here. And we're going to create a single crochet in the first stitch. So put your hook in there. It's the same thing, a single crochet. And then you're going to mark it up, so that way you can keep track of where to end your stitches. Now the next one is going to be an increase. So we've already done this. So go ahead and put your hook in there. You yarn over, pull up your loop, yarn over and pull through 2. Do it again in the same stitch, put your hook in, yarn over, pull up your loop, yarn over and pull through 2. And you've got your increase. Okay, so go again. So we're going to start that again. So 1 single crochet and then an increase. So the next one is 1 single crochet. Just like that. Then go into the next one and do an increase. So that means 2 single crochets in that 1 stitch. Okay? So you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches so far. Okay? You're going to keep going all the way around, so do another single crochet and then an increase. Single crochet, increase. Single crochet, increase. Single crochet, increase. So that means that your last stitch has to be an increase, and then you're going to have a total of 18 stitches. Okay, so I finished round 3 here, and as I said, you should have 18 stitches. So I will show you how to count your stitches just in case you are not sure how to do so. So each stitch does form a V shape here, as you can see, just like that. So each one is a stitch. So I'm going to count where my stitch marker is, which was the beginning of our round, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18, which is where my hook is. Okay, so that is 18 stitches for round 3, and we're gonna go ahead and move forward to round 4. What we're going to do for this one, the pattern is that we're going to do 1 single crochet, and then an increase, and then 1 single crochet, and then 1 single crochet, increase, 1 single crochet. So that's the pattern: 1 single crochet, increase, 1 single crochet. So let's go ahead and get this started. Remove your stitch marker to start off. We're going to do 1 single crochet, a regular single crochet like we've been doing. Go ahead and mark up that first stitch. Okay, so the next stitch is going to be an increase. So do what we've been doing. So do 2 single crochets into that 1 stitch. Just like that. Now the next one is going to be 1 single crochet. Just like so. Okay, so we've got our 4 stitches there. Now we're going to repeat that pattern again. So 1 single crochet, an increase, which is 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Okay, and now we're going to do 1 single crochet, just like that. So go ahead and continue that pattern of 1 single crochet, increase, 1 single crochet. Okay, and then at the end, when you get to the last one, you should end at a single crochet, and you should have 24 stitches. Okay, so round 4 is a total of 24 stitches. And again, just follow that pattern of single crochet, increase, single crochet. Alright, so I've got my 24 stitches here for round 4, and now we're going to go ahead and move forward to round 5. Now for round 5, it is simpler. Not that the other part was difficult, but this one is just 2 things that you're going to be following. A two-part pattern. I guess that's a better way to say it. So we're going to do a single crochet in the first 3 stitches, and then we're going to do an increase. Okay, so single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, increase, and so on and so forth. So go ahead and remove that stitch marker. We're going to go into that first stitch. Just do a regular single crochet like we've been doing. Grab your stitch marker back and mark up that first stitch. Go ahead and create another single crochet into the next 2 stitches. So that way you have 3 single crochets, but give me a second because I kind of messed this up. Like I said, make sure you have all 3 strands on your hook before you continue, because then you'll have a loose strand and it won't look pretty at the end. So that's 3 single crochets. Okay, so 1 single crochet in 3 stitches. Okay, now the next one is going to be an increase. So go ahead and put your hook and do 2 single crochets into that 1 stitch. So you should have 5 stitches in total just with that 1 section. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So go ahead again. So do 3 single crochets. So 1 single crochet. This is the next stitch. Another single crochet. That's the second one. Into the next stitch. That's the 3rd single crochet. What we're going to do is that we're going to do an increase now. So do 2 single crochets in that 1 stitch. Okay? So continue that pattern of 3 single crochets and then an increase. When you finish this round, you should have a number of 30. So have 30 stitches and your last one should be an increase. Okay? So go ahead and I'll see you at the end. Okay, so that actually ends this portion of the circle. Now we're going to go over to round 6. And we're going to switch our colors. But before we switch our colors, what I want you to do, I want you to remove the stitch marker here. And you're going to go into this next stitch and you're going to do a slip stitch. So to create a slip stitch, you're going to yarn over pull up your loop, and then go and pull that loop right through the loop that's on your hook already. And now we're going to fasten off, so grab your scissors, and I'm going to cut off right here, right at the end where the thing is ending. If for any reason your end is up here and you need to add to it, go ahead and do that, because you want to make sure that you cut off a long length so that way you can weave it into your piece. And I will show you how to weave in that piece while we are working on our petals section. So I went ahead and took care of that. So I cut my yarn and we're going to fasten off. So all you got to do is just pull that strand right out, just like so, and do not be afraid, it won't cut loose. So you created that slip stitch, so you're fine. I'm gonna go ahead and do like an invisible stitch. I forget what it's called, but what you're gonna do, you can use a darning needle if you want to do this part, but I'm gonna show you what happens if you don't have a darning needle. So all you gotta do is go into the next stitch, like if you're gonna be working into it, and you're going to grab that yarn that you fastened off. You're gonna pull it right through there, and then you're gonna go back to your last stitch that you just did, which is your slip stitch. And what you're going to do is that you're going to go into the back loop over here and put your hook through there. And that's what it looks like this. Okay, so that's the back loop only. So when you see BLO, that's what that means. So back loop only. So your hook is between the V stitch there. And what you're going to do is that you grab your hook, you grab your yarn and just pull it through that stitch there. And now you have an invisible stitch, so it kind of looks like it's part of it. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to put our brown yarn away and we're going to grab our yellow yarn. Alright, so I've got my yellow yarn here, and what we're going to do is that we're actually going to do the same process that we did with our brown yarn. So go ahead and do that S shape with your yarn, so that way we can create a thicker yarn. And don't worry, it doesn't have to be super long to start off or even as you go. So that this is the end of it. As you can see, this is the loose end right here. And then this is the end that's connected to the yarn ball. What we're going to do is that we're going to grab our center part here, the brown part. And this is where I left off, as you can see. You can literally start wherever you want in the circle, but if you do want to weave in your piece here as you are starting, or as you're going, you want to start closer to where you left off. So I'm going to go ahead and start in this stitch over here. And I'm going to grab my yellow yarn here, and I'm just going to slip it right through here, like a slip stitch type of style. And I'm going to elongate this a little bit. It's a little too short. I do want to weave this in as I go as well, so I'm literally just going to pull it like this just to make it a little longer. Now what we're going to do, make sure you grab your pieces all the way over here, and what you're going to do first is that we are going to chain 3. So this is considered round 6. So go ahead and follow along with round 6. If you're following along with the pattern, which you should be because it is a free pattern, you can find that in the description box down below. So go ahead and grab that free pattern and come back if you don't have it yet. So here we go. So chain 3. So go ahead and chain 3. To do a chain is kind of like a slip stitch. So what you do is that you're going to yarn over and pull that yarn right through that hoop that is on your hook already. And that's a chain. Okay, so I'm going to do that one more time, and that's 3 chains. Now here is my little hoop. It's too short, so I'm going to extend it a little more. So what you do, I'm going to show you just in case you couldn't see well with the brown. So we've got our hoop here, and this is our yarn right there, right? So put your fingers through the hoop, right through, and grab the piece of yarn. And you're literally just gonna pull it through, extend it through as far as you want. You can do it as long as you want, you can do it as short as you want, and then go back to the beginning and just align it together like this. just to make sure that it's straight and that you want to make sure that it is aligned well enough and that it's not all wrinkly or anything like that. Okay, so here we go. The next step is a little different. This is more of an advanced stitch, kind of. Do not worry if you're still a beginner. I will go slow. This is called a puff stitch. So if you know how to do a puff stitch, then you're golden, okay? You're not gonna struggle at all. What we're gonna do, first, you yarn over, okay? Go into the next stitch here. Before you yarn over, I'm going to weave my pieces in here along as I go. So those pieces that you have hanging out, just put it right over your hook there, okay? And don't worry about it, just hold it like this and you'll be fine. They won't get in the way. So now yarn over and you're gonna pull through and pull up a loop. Now when you pull up a loop, you wanna make sure that it's the same height as your chains and the first yarn over that you did. Okay, that will make it a lot easier to pull your hook right through when you get to the end. You will see what I mean. So go ahead and yarn over again and go into the same stitch right in there. Go right in there and yarn over and pull up that loop. Okay, so that's the second time you did that. You want to do that one more time. So go ahead and yarn over, go into that same stitch, you yarn over and pull up your loop, and you did that 3 times, okay? So now we're good. Now what we're gonna do is that we're going to yarn over, and when you yarn over, you're gonna pull through almost all of them besides the chain 4 here that you have, the chain 3. So go all the way through till you get to there. Do not go through the chains. We're going to yarn over and pull through both loops there, okay? And you made your puff stitch. Yes, you've made your puff stitch. If this is your first puff stitch, bravo, you just made a puff stitch. Now you know how to make one. Now I am running low here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to extend my yarn again. And now, what I want you to do, if you're a beginner, I want you to mark up this stitch that you just finished there, because we're going to go back into it later. What you're going to do is that you're going to chain 2. So chain 1 and 2. What we're doing here is that we're going to create the point of the sunflower. So that stitch right here, the reason I made you mark is because we're going to go in there and we're going to do a slip stitch. Okay, so remove the marker and keep an eye on it. Don't lose that spot. Go ahead and put your hook right in there, and you're going to yarn over and pull that loop in, and you're going to put it into the back loop. So that means you're making a slip stitch. Okay, so this is what it should look like. So you've got your chains and then you've got your little point there. Okay, now the next thing that we're going to do is that we're going to chain 3. So chain 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to go into the next stitch here. So we've been working into this one stitch with the puff stitch. We're going into the next one and we're going to do a slip stitch. Go into the stitch, and if you are weaving in your pieces, your little loose ends here, make sure you grab them and put them over your hook. Okay, so go ahead and yarn over and pull up the loop and slip stitch. So go slip right into that back loop that's on your hook already, like that. Okay, so you've got your first petal for the sunflower. That was easy, wasn't it? Yeah. So now what we're going to do is we're going to continue that pattern. So first thing is that you're going to chain 3. So chain 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to do our puff stitch. So go into yarn over and go into the next stitch. Put your hook in there. Before you yarn over, grab your loose ends and put it over your hook. Okay, so go ahead and yarn over and pull up your loop. Now don't forget, when you're pulling up your loop, you want to extend it up to where your chains are, so that way it is even. Go ahead and yarn over and go into the same stitch. You yarn over and pull up your loop. That's the second time. Let's do it one more time. You yarn over, go into the same stitch, yarn over, and pull up your loop. Okay, so you did that 3 times. As you can see, everything is aligned. We're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through all of the loops besides the chain that you have. So go through all of the chain, all the loops. Stay there, go slow. You don't need to go fast. Take your time. And as I said, make sure when you're doing the puffs, that's why you want to extend it, so that way it's easy to go through, because if you don't, you will get stuck as you go through. Now go ahead and yarn over, and we're going to pull through the last 2 stitches here. Sorry, the last 2 loops, it's not a stitch. Okay, so you did your second puff stitch, yay! And now what we're going to do, as I said, if you're a beginner, complete beginner, you may want to mark this up right here, right in the front. And we're going to chain 2. So go ahead and chain 2. And we're going to go into this stitch here, okay, which is like the top of your puff stitch. Right there. Okay, right in the front. You're going to yarn over and pull through. And then do a slip stitch. So pull right through that back loop there. Okay? So there you go. We got our point there. And what we're going to do is that we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to go into the next stitch, and we're going to do a slip stitch. So put your hook right in there. Put your pieces up here on top of the hook. You yarn over, pull up your loop, and go into that loop that's in the back. Like I said, it's a little difficult just because you do have like 3 strands on your hook, but do not worry, you will get the hang of it. And you got your second petal. Yay! It's so cute. I love it. So easy too. Once you get the hang of it, you'll see what I mean. That it's like super easy. You're going to continue doing that pattern. If you get a little confused, do not worry. You can rewind the video and just follow along, and you'll get the hang of it, I promise. Now, you're going to do that pattern 15 times. So that means you'll have 15 petals all the way around. Okay, so when I get to the end over here, I will come back and I will show you what you gotta do to make sure that you connect the 2 petals together. So that way it is like a seamless seam type of situation with your petals. Okay, and here we are on our last stitch here. This is where you're going to do a slip stitch. So you literally go into that next stitch in here, and you're just going to do a regular slip stitch, which is what we have been doing for our pattern. And that should finalize your flower. And what I like to do is that I like to go to the back over here, and I'm literally just gonna go into this stitch over here. Just go right under there. And what you're gonna do is that you're just gonna do another slip stitch, so that way you can really finish it off. And that's it. Now I'm going to fasten off. Like I said, you can cut it where it's at, the short end. If you have it a little shorter, you might want to extend it a little bit, so that way you can fasten off, so you can weave in your ends. And once that is fastened off, you're going to literally just pull this piece right out, like so, and you are done. That is it. You have finished, well, kind of finished your sunflower. All you gotta do is that you gotta weave in your ends, and then you're truly done. So what you gotta do to weave in your ends is that you're going to use your darning needle. So you just thread your yarn right into the needle in here. And the way that I like to weave in the end is that I literally just go through the puff stitch into each petal as far as I can. You just go all the way across. It's a little bit tight, but just keep trying. You'll get it. It'll go through. Don't worry. Just like that. See? There you go. And you're just going to keep going all the way around as far as you can. And then when you get to the part where you can't go around anymore, you're just gonna cut it off and fasten off that way, and it'll be done and it should be fine. And you're just gonna cut the end as close as you can to the edge there, just like that. And this right here, I'm glad that I ended here. This is actually the end that I was weaving into the petals. So you get to a point where you can't work it into your piece anymore, so you just stop and you're just gonna cut it off as close to the edge as you can without cutting the rest of your project. And now here is the piece that you have from the magic ring. And what you're gonna do is either you're gonna cut it off if you want, but I do not suggest that. What I suggest is that you also weave in this piece into the center of your flower here, just to make sure that the magic ring is solid and that it doesn't come undone at any point. Okay, and that ends our pattern here. You have finished your sunflower chunky coaster, or whatever you want to call it. It's perfect. It's super cute. I love it. It's massive and chunky, and you can fit a little vase on top of it. You could even use like a mason jar and put flowers in the mason jar. That looks really cute. Or you can even use it as a decor. Could use it as a mug rest too if you wanted to. Even though it's massive, it's really cute and perfect for the summer. Let me measure this out so you can know how big it is. So from one tip of the petal to the other tip is about 7 inches. Okay, so it's about 7 inches in diameter, just to give you an idea of how much that is. And if you do centimeters, it is about 18 centimeters, 18 and a half. Yeah, it's about 18 and a half centimeters. Okay, so that's a pretty chunky coaster, but it is super cute, very poofy. And another thing that you can do is that you can literally block your coaster a little bit, so that way it can stay down, because the petals do tend to lift up a little bit. So to avoid that, you just block it. You can steam block it or just wet blocking. If you don't know what that is, I do have a video for it, so you can go ahead and click the link right up there, which is where I show you a review on how to do it. And that is all. So, final notes. The only thing about this piece is that you are going to be using a lot of yarn. Okay, you are essentially tripling your yarn, so you want to make sure that you have enough yarn to create this piece, because we are making a chunky coaster sunflower edition. So to make sure that you don't run out, start a new skein if you have one. If you use like the little ones like this one, just make sure you have a full one, so that way you do have enough to create this piece, 1 or even 2. But anyway, if you did enjoy this video, make sure you click that thumbs up. It definitely helps me out and figuring out what you guys like or dislike. And also, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, let me know in the comment section down below, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Also, if you do end up creating this wonderful piece, definitely tag me on Instagram at Amparo Wonderland. I would love to see your creations. So, as always, make sure you check out this next video over here, because it is going to be worth your while and you will learn a lot about crochet. Okay? As always, thank you for stopping by, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!